All right, good day, everybody. This is Marcel Pursuit, and this is a condensed edition of the Sports Inquirer Show. We're going to focus on the original free kick and Atlanta United's matchup tonight at the Columbus Crew. Atlanta's coming off of a 2-2 road draw to Montreal on August 4th. Slow start for Atlanta in that contest, giving up 2 goals early in the second half. And the second goal was a defensive error by Atlanta United off of a corner kick, which was set into the penalty area into a wide open Rudy Camacho, who was left unmarked and able to chip the ball into the net in the 63rd minute to make the score 2-0. Before we get to Atlanta's comeback in that contest, we spoke with Rob Valentino, manager of Atlanta United, on the team improving its defensive effort.
The message that we talked about was we do it different ways. When we can't physically train, we got video, whether it's the video of the opponent, video of us, video from training, or animations that they can see things move. Nothing will fix what we can't do we can't fix things when you're not on the pitch in terms of how they actually see it. So that's difficult when you can't train, when you train properly, at least when you travel and you play the game and all that goes into it. But when we do go on the field, and we did do some stuff where we talked about, okay, well, if this situation happens, what are we doing? And we ask lots of questions, making sure that it's not a dictator up there telling you what to do, because they need to be able to be the ones in it and say, no, that doesn't feel right. Okay, well, how are we fixing it? Where's the solution? So we've done it a bunch of different ways, and we're trying to. People learn different too. Somebody might learn better on video. Somebody learns better on animation. Somebody learns better on the field. So we want to make sure we're kind of hitting all those things, and then we also poke holes in everything to say, like, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? What are we doing? So we're trying every different route that we can to fix and to shore things up a little bit so that we can go the other way and be attack minded and be free flowing in that sense.
And we also spoke with George Campbell, defenseman for Atlanta, on the team improving its defensive execution and shoring up the back line.
Yeah, I mean, in video and in training, we try to work on, just if it's a backline thing, just how we function and move together and not get disconnected. And the second goal is just a mental lapse, and that shouldn't happen, obviously. And we want to cut out those errors because those are silly goals to give away. But in training, even today we go over stuff to make sure all of our defenders and midfielders are on the same page, so we don't concede any easy goals.
Now, Atlanta was able to come back in that contest with 2 goals. First one from Joseph Martinez, and the second one from Marcelino Moreno to tie the score 2-2 and made the score what it was. It was the second consecutive contest both of those gentlemen scored in the match. It was Martinez's 4th goal of the season and Moreno's 5th, which leads Atlanta United this season. Moreno also leads the club and ranks 3rd in MLS with dribbles completed at 46. Here is Valentino on the team staying aggressive on the offensive end.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to work on anything, right? When you have such a quick turnaround with travel and all that. So in terms of have we gone and worked on anything? I think from a mentality standpoint, I would like us to continue the same. Whoever's stepping in those in that role. Obviously, you can't replace a player like him, player for player, and everyone in the group someone's a little bit different. But how we can best set up to go and attack them, I think the mentality needs to be the same in terms of how are we more direct, or are we going to look at a different option? But yeah, I mean, he does. It will change a little bit. I'm sure a little, depending on the personnel that ends up playing. We'll miss them, I'm sure.
Now, Atlanta currently sits 11th place in the Eastern Conference standings with 15 points, 9 points out of a playoff spot. Here is Valentino on the team seeking results.
I mean, yeah, it's hard when results don't go your way, because that's what we're in, a results-driven business, and winning cures all this. When things are down and maybe you don't play well and you win games, no one really cares. People are still pretty happy. And I don't want to lose sight of performances and being able to play exciting, attack-minded, intense football. I want to be that way, but we do have to win games. And I was pretty emotional after the last game. I guess the last 2 games, really, it took a lot out of me personally. But you sit away and you reflect, and I think it's important that you continue on the path that you think is correct. Because if if that's the path you believe in, you can't fake it the other way. So, and that's been my message to the group, is that we can't fake who we are. So if you're out there and you're playing like you're not yourself, or you're not free to do what you want to do, then you're not going to perform the best. So for me, it just has to continue on, and the mentality of the group, I think, is in a really good place. We'll see tomorrow night. I think like I told them last game, this is a really big test of your character, perseverance. Like, how close are you to that iceberg that you're going for? Are you at the tip of it, or are you far away? I believe that we are really close. Results change that. So if you get the result, then things can get rolling. But I think they're in a good place. Like, the mentality of the group, they're positive. They work hard. Those are staples, though. They should always be there. It's just, for me, it's the results that have to then change, and that's on us to get that through to them, and us to be able to perform it.
Now, United visits a Columbus team that sits seventh in the Eastern Conference standings with 24 points. The top 7 teams in the Eastern Conference make the playoffs. So this is a really important contest for Atlanta if they look to move up the standings and knock off a team that currently sits in a playoff spot. Here is Valentino on facing Columbus.
Columbus, the last time we played them, there was a difficult game for us, but I also thought we were able to create a lot of chances. Caleb Porter's been around for a long time, and he's been very successful. So we know the challenges that we'll face with his group in terms of how their players end up playing. Especially, you've got a guy like Zardes back, you've got a guy like Zeller Ryan that we have to be aware of. And they've lost these last two games, and I'm sure they'll be super, super motivated in the way he coaches. Also on the flip side is that, if they've lost those games in the way they've lost them, I think that it could be a chance that we come in with some positive energy and inflict that on them.
And that's your preview for tonight's upcoming contest for Atlanta United at the Columbus Crew. We'll have a breakdown of the contest in a few days in our next edition of the Sports Inquirer Show. Until next time, good fight, good night, and be safe.